Not means in our language we say vifali karotu. Vifala. Vifala means phala means fruit. Vifala means make it fruitless. That is, this will come. You have to witness the scene. You have to listen to that sound, or you will be coming across this touch or pain and pleasure and sight and everything you will come across. You cannot run away from that one. But only thing is, you have to make them futile. You have to make them purposeless, or you have to make them not NAUGT not. So that is what is the message. That is, so see, one small verse, so much of so many beautiful meanings can come out of this one. I have started elaborating on this because in our last earlier session I had discussed about all this in very much detail. So this we had stopped at exactly at this one. So I am taking up this in a little more detail. That is matras, parshas, tu kaunteya. Do you think this is the matter that will bring in pain and pleasure? To say that no, this will not bring in pain and pleasure. That is what is the meaning of this one. Matras, parshas, tu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkadaha, agama paino nityam. That is, they come and go on everyday basis, like a river that is flowing continuously. It comes, one molecule of river comes, and water looks all the 24 hours, 360 days, it looks the same water. But every time the water is moving, old water has flown out, and new water has already entered, gushed in. So this is continuous process. Or more beautiful example, let me quote. Now let us say some mango tree is there, or any other tree is there. This will flower in a particular season. That means after the season has gone, flowering has stopped. Again that season comes. It may be any season. It may be rainy season, or some flower in January and February, some flower in June, July, some may flower in December, like Christmas trees, etc. So it is depending on that particular tree. So that flowering season comes for the tree and it goes off. Again it has to wait for 1 year, so that again that flowering season comes, again the tree starts flowering, again it goes off. So that means pain and pleasure, they keep on coming continuously like this, and they go off. So we should not be attached to that one, or we should not be excessively carried out by the same thing. That is what is the message of this one. That is meant by this beautiful word titikshasva. Titikshasva means you make it fruitless, you make it purposeless, you make it a not. That is what Lord Sri Krishna is saying in this beautiful verse. So it is one of the very beautiful, or a crux of this uh, second chapter. Every word is a beautiful word. Every sentence, every sloka, everything is so beautiful in the Bhagavad Gita, because it has come out of straight from the lotus lips of Lord Sri Krishna. So there cannot be anything nectarine rather than this Lord Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. So that is why it has made every person on this earth to be curious, to be anxious, and to know what is there in Bhagavad Gita, and how to adopt it in our day-to life, in day-to-day example, so that we become better human beings, and the entire world becomes a very beautiful place to live in, with lot of orderliness. So that is what is the message of Lord Sri Krishna. Now let us move on to the next 15th verse. And he again, Lord Sri Krishna, now he has started revealing his gospel. All these other entire chapter 1 and few of the verses of second chapter, they are all belonging to Arjuna, wherein a grieved Arjuna is telling his agony, representing every human being, because Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He is an incarnation of Lord Indra. That means he himself has attained godhood. Definitely he knows so many things. But again, to help all the fellow human beings on this planet, he is posing as a common man. And the answer that comes from the lips of Lord Sri Krishna, it is conveyed to every human being. So that is how Arjuna is not an ordinary person. We should revere Arjuna also. And of course, Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme Lord, who has incarnated to reveal this gospel of this beautiful message, nectarine message of Bhagavad Gita. And Lord Sri Krishna continues, he says, Yam hina vithayante te purusham purusharchabha sama dukkha sukham dhiram som mrutatvaya kalpate. He says that a person, that is purusham means for a person. Now many people think that this has been addressed to only men. because Purusha means in ordinary language you consider as men only. Yam hina vethayante te, that is for whom, that is this sense of touch, sense of pain, sense of sight, sound, to which person vethayante, vetha means grief, to which person they don't grief, that Purusharshabha, Purusha means I will tell you after at the end of this verse. Purusham, Purusharshabha, Sayan, or Mr. Arjuna, that is a valiant Arjuna. Samadukha Sukham, that is the one who equalizes, who normalizes pains and pleasures. Dhiram, Dhiram means the one who is courageous. Dhiram, that is, there are so many synonyms to this one. Dhira is there, Veera is there, Shoka is there. So many typical in Sanskrit with well defined meanings for all these things. Dukkha, Shoka. Whenever that comes, I will tell you what is Shoka, what is Dukkha. Dukkha means a little literally body pain, that can be dukkha. Shoka means we know something and we are in a helpless situation. So let us say somebody is dead, we are in a helpless situation, that is shoka. The pain that it induces is shoka. Or let us say I have a house and tomorrow government announces that we are bringing in a railway track here, so you have to compulsorily sell your house. Many this happens, isn't it? Bangalore Metro, they announce that metro line will run from here, so you have to forcefully sell your house or land that you had loved. So that now you cannot do anything because government has announced, which is more supreme. So we become helpless. That is shoka. Now a thorn is pricked in my foot or something like that, that is a pain. So that is dukkha. Dukkha and shoka, again whenever we come across that, I will tell you. Similarly here also one is dhira. Dhira means the one who can take on the fight till end. He will not run away from the battlefield even if he is he has been hurt, still he takes on the fight. So that is a quality of a dhira. Sama dukkha sukham dhiram somrutattvaya kalpate. That is the one who qualifies for normalizing pain and pleasure. Only he alone qualifies to obtain this eternal peace. Now, as I said, here there is a word purusham. So many people think that Lord Krishna addressed only the men and not the women. Purusham is a Sanskrit yogic word. Yogi, there are two types of words. One is yogic word, one is Rudhi words. Rudhi nama, yogic nama. Rudhi words have no meaning. You cannot split those words. Like as I said, chair. This has no sense. Simply chair, that's all. Table, I call. Okay, so table. We know what is table, but there is no much definition. Or if you split that word, you don't get any meaning out of that one. So that is what is meant by a spoon, a table, and a chair, something like that. Now, Purusha is not a Rudhi Nama, it is a Yogic Nama. Yogic Nama means where if you split that one, you will get a beautiful meaning why it has been named like that. Purusham, Puri means a body. We call so many places Jagannath Puri. Puri means a place. Jagannath means Puri is a place wherein Lord Jagannath's temple is there, like that. Puri, that is the meaning of simple Puri. So many Puris wherever you come across for a city, that means the Krishna Puri, it may be Jagannath Puri, like that. So that it may be for in the name of any particular king or a queen or whatever it is there, or a God's temple, whatever it is there. So Puri Shete. Shete means who resides. Puri Shete Purushaha. That is the one who resides in a body. Puri means body or a place, as I said. Now this is a place. This body is a place. Physical body with hands, like this is a place. The one who stays in that body is a Purusha. Now body is same for women. Body is same for men also. So God has not differentiated that it is a body of a woman, body of a man. He only said Purusha. Purusha means whoever, that is now who is staying in the body? It is the soul is staying in the body. Atman, or the soul. So the same Atman is there in a woman's body, the same Atman is there in a man's body. So this Bhagavad Gita is applicable to everybody, men, women, for everybody. Only people with dull wit, they explain that it is meant for only men or something like that. But actually intellectuals know this meaning very well. It's not a new meaning that I am quoting. Very well it is known that it is meant for everybody. So that is the meaning of Purusha. Puri Shete Purusha. So many Sanskrit is, that is how it is a very wonderful and such a language. Many, there are many examples. One is all of you know Uraga. Uraga means snakes. Why it is called Uraga? Because Ura means the chest. That is, they crawl with the chest. So from Urena Gamayati. So that is why Gamayati means the move. The one who that moves with the chest is a Uraga. So that is, this is called yogic word. Similarly, for trees are called as Padapa, Padapa Prapancha. Pada means leg, we know all Pada. Pa means Pibanti, that drinks. That is, the one that drinks from its feet is a Padapa. Now, what drinks from its feet? Trees drink from their feet. Trees, with their roots, they draw the water or they drink the water. That is why it is a Padapa. So, that is a yogic word. So many such beautiful in Sanskrit, it is full of such yogic words only. Very few Rodi namas you will get, but most of them they get you will get such beautiful yogic words only. So many are there. Chakris, there Kundalis, there are Pitambari is there, the one who is wearing that one, or Gadi, the one who is wielding a Gada, or Chakrapani, one who is holding a chakra in his hands. That is, Lord Krishna holds a chakra in his hand. Like that, so many such beautiful, they are all yogic words only. You will get so many such yogic words in Sanskrit. So many we have seen also. Budakesha, we have seen meaning, or Madhusudana, why he is called Madhusudana? He slayed this demon Madhu, or Keshava, who slayed demon Keshi. So that is why he is called as Keshava. Madhusudana. Parantapa is a yogic word, because the one who brings in shivers in the enemies, that is Parantapa. So like that, so many yogic words are there. So like this, Purusha also is a yogic word. That means that the one who resides in the body. Now, Atma resides in the body, soul resides in the body, because exit of the soul is a dead one. So soul is present means person is alive. That means who is present inside that lively person? It is the Atman. So this message is for that Atman. So through that Atman and this body, we should attain the higher things in our spiritualism. That is what is meant by this verse. That is, Yam hina vithayante te purusham purusharshabaha samadukka sukham dhiram so mrutatvaya kalpate. Further, Lord Sri Krishna continues to say, नासतो विद्यते भावो नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्त्वस्तनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः. Very simple meaning here. Nasato vidyate bhava, na asata. Asata means bad deeds. Bad deeds will never get a good reputation or never get a good fruit. That is, you cannot expect good fruits from a bad tree. That's the meaning. Or a simple example, if you plant a neem tree, you will get bitter fruits only. That is what is or if you plant a mango tree, you will get sweet fruits only. So what you sow, so you get. That is more or less the same meaning. Na sato vidyate bhava. That is, whatever bad deeds are there, they will never attract good fruits for that one. Na bhava vidyate satah. That is, if you have done good job, there is absolutely no chance that you will get bad fruits. Time is different. Time may get delayed depending on our past deeds, present deeds, because some will draw instant fruit and instant punishment, and some may draw punishment or fruits at a later stage. So that is what is the meaning of this one. I will tell you so many other ordinary example. I will tell you. Somebody is a thief or stolen something. So if he has stolen something, now he will be produced, he will not be killed suddenly. He will be produced in a police station, then he will go to court, and then he will get a bail, or he may not get a bail depending on the crime, whether it is heinous or a normal or ordinary crime, and then the punishment is meted out, isn't it? He has done a bad deed. Stealing is a bad deed. It has to be punished. Now what the court has done? They have only given 2 months imprisonment. They have not hanged him. They have given 15 days punishment or something like that. Or I violate a red light in a signal, so government will not hang me. They may say that you have violated jumped the signal, so hence you have to pay a penalty of 100 rupees or 200 rupees, isn't it? This is the one. Now let us say a Kasab like a person who came from Pakistan, and a Kasab like person has killed innocent people along with his 4 or 5 accomplices, he has killed people in Mumbai railway station. Now he has also done a wrong thing, but what is the punishment? Instant punishment. All his accomplices were killed instantly. Instantly they were shot dead, isn't it? In the first incidents also, somebody has done a crime. He has, let us say, he has slapped somebody. He has done a crime. In second incident also, he has done a crime. In the first incidents, the punishment is a little punishment, or it may be pardoned also. In second, instant punishment, instantly dead punishment. Like that, whenever we do good deeds, they will definitely bring in good fruits. It may be a matter of time. It may be instantly. It may be somebody or some other time. Or still ordinary example, if you want to quote, let us say in this Corona incident, somebody helped people to travel to their native places, maybe 10 to 15,000 people, and instantly become a hero. Because in such a odd situation of COVID pandemic or Corona spread, he took the risk and helped so many people. That is, somebody provided food to some 10,000 people, somebody provided helped in travel with paying their ticket. They become instant heroes. Why they become instant heroes? Because the proportion of good work is of a high magnanimity, so he got rewards also very quickly. So now let us say, even I have also given 5 rupees to a beggar. Neither this will come in newspaper, nor it will be printed somewhere else, nor I will get a credit or reward for that one. Because does it mean that I have not done anything, or I have not done a good job? Definitely I have done a good job, and it will not attract now the right now the favors. It will take its own time, because the amount that I have done is very small quantum. The amount of to feeding 10,000 people is a larger quantum. That will immediately come in newspaper. People will start garlanding. People will start recognizing him. People will reward him, or government may also reward him. So that is how it comes. Atyutkatai punyapapai ihaiva phalamashnuте. Atyutkatai means a very severe act of crime will attract immediate punishment. A severe act of goodness will attract immediate instant fruition. So that is what is the meaning of this one. So that is how Lord Sri Krishna says, nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah ubhayoropi drushtantvastanayos tattvadarshini. That is the one who can find out. Many people will be grumbling, isn't it? I did like so many good things, even then I get bad fruits, my destiny is not good, yeah, I have done so much good, still nothing good is happening to me. Like that they will be telling, isn't it? The answer is, it will definitely bring in good fruits, and it even appears that very bad people are ruling the world, or they may be more in number, or they are more powerful. They possess a fleet of very costly cars, and have servants in their homes, whereas I may not have any servants. I may be leading a very poor life. This looks like this, but it's not that one. It cannot be judged by that parameter. That is, whatever they have done, some extreme good deeds at some point of time in their previous births, now they are enjoying that one, and definitely for what they have done misdeeds, they will definitely have the punishment. Same thing with good things also. Whatever we have done, it will definitely bring in good rewards in the court of God. It may be a matter of time, maybe now instantly, or maybe after some time. So that is what is nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah. Further, Lord Sri Krishna goes on to continue. Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavvayasya na kaschit kartum arhasi. Lord Sri Krishna says that the one that has occupied everything, it doesn't qualify for destruction, and you cannot destroy. You don't have the caliber of destructing itself. So that is what is the message of Lord Sri Krishna. Avinashi. Vinasha means, you know very well, that which can be destroyed. Avinashi, which cannot be destroyed. Avinashi tu tadvidhi. You understand? Ena sarvamidam, that has enveloped everything. This doesn't qualify for this one. Now this beautiful verse can be in the can be deciphered on behalf of human beings or other living things, or on behalf of God also. First we will see on behalf of human beings, then we shall go to the how it is applicable to God also. That is avinashitu tadvidhi. That means the soul that occupies the body, doesn't qualify for destruction. That is the meaning of Lord Sri Krishna. That is, it has occupied the body, that it doesn't qualify, or you are not capable of destroying. A soul, who can destroy the soul? Because we cannot see the soul itself. So how do we destroy? So there is no question of further. He says in the coming verses, what is the quality of the soul? That is avinashitu tadvidhi ena sarvamidam tatam, that is which has enveloped everything, or which has occupied every space. You cannot destroy that, and or it doesn't qualify for destruction. Vinasha bhavesasa na kaschit kartum arhati, that is you are not qualified, or you don't have caliber of destroying this one. So what are those things that cannot be destroyed? Now let us say the example of sky. Sky has enveloped everything. Wherever it is there, it has enveloped or it has covered. Can we destroy skies? We cannot destroy skies. So like that, Atman also has enveloped it, and it doesn't qualify for destruction. That is one of the beautiful meanings of this one. Or what are other things that cannot be destroyed? This all the alphabets, Varnamala, alphabets cannot be destroyed. Alphabets like A, E, or A, B, C, D, they are ever existing. There is nobody on this entire cosmos who says that I have destroyed A letter or B letter, C letter. Nothing, no destruction is possible for these things. They are ever existing. So that is what is the meaning of Lord Sri Krishna. Skies cannot be destroyed, alphabets cannot be destroyed. So like that, Atman also cannot be destroyed. This is in terms of applicable to human beings. Now let us see applicable to God. How this is applicable to God also. That is, human beings, the Atman also envelops so much space, cannot be seen, and hence cannot be destroyed or doesn't qualify for destruction. And however, ours is a very limited body. That is, we are limited by time, we are limited by our qualities, we are limited by powers. Now let us say I am in the pharmacy profession. I may know about pharmacy, I do not know anything about engineering. Or I am qualified today, some 50 years back I was not qualified, I was not knowing this one. Or maybe after 50 years, after my death, again I don't have any knowledge. In my next birth, I may not have knowledge of this one. So that means deshataha, gunataha, kalataha. Now I am here. I cannot be in some other place at the same time. I may be available virtually on the screen, but physically I am there, means I am right now present in my home. I cannot be present in some other place. That is, then who can be present? God can be present like this. God knows what was there earlier, what is there today, what is there in future. God knows what is there in engineering, what is there in medicine, what is there in some other arts, what is there. He was knowing earlier, he will know tomorrow also. And he possesses this knowledge of everything from eternity to eternity. So that is how this is more applicable to God. Even though first we have applied to human beings, it is of limited meaning. But when we applied this to God, who has covered, enveloped him, God can be present in Gulbarga, God can be present in Bangalore, he can be present in America, he can be present in skies also. Everywhere he can be present. So that is how there is a temple in Gulbarga. We go and pray here with a strong belief that God is there in front of me. I pray him. Whereas somebody in Bangalore also is praying, somebody in New Delhi also is praying the same God, because God can be present everywhere at any given time. So that is this verse is more applicable to God, to human beings to a limited quantity. Like as we say, suppose I have a beautiful statue of lion in my home, or I have a beautiful statue of some lion's painting. So to a small child, I show that this is lion, this is a tiger. Definitely, it is a tiger or a lion, or a photo of a lion only, a very fierce lion, but it is not actual lion, isn't it? Definitely, we explain that this is lion, the lion size is like this, or this is an elephant, the elephant size is like this. Actual model of elephant is there. I can show that this is the actual model of elephant. This is the height of elephant. This is the size of elephant. This is the tail. This is the tusk of the elephant. Everything is actual only, but it is not real elephant. But elephant only. We call it as elephant only. Like that, the same verse is applicable to human beings also. We are like that statue of lion or statue of this elephant, whereas for God, he is the real lion and he is the real elephant. That is, God is present everywhere. So that is how this verse is more applicable, more beautifully applicable to Lord Sri Krishna or any of the gods, rather than human beings. Even though it is applicable, we are like lions in a photograph, whereas God is a real lion. So that is the only difference. So our capacity, our knowledge is limited. As I said, I know pharmacy, I do not know engineering, I do not know about arts, I do not know about something else, isn't architecture. So this is my limitation. Whereas for God, He is architect also, He is an engineer also, He is an doctor also, He is an everything, all in all. So that is how we can draw beautiful meanings. Same words, so many beautiful meanings. It's not because of it's all written. It's not my imagination. It is already said by enlightened people that. त्रयार्था सर्ववेदेषु दशार्था सर्वभारते विष्णु सहस्रनामापि nirantaram shatarthakam. The meaning of this is that every Veda gives at least three meanings, and more enlightened people draw more. Usually, enlightened here stands for either enlightened the saints, sages, or gods. They derive more meaning. And Dashartha Sarva Bharata. This is part of Bharata only, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata only. It falls there only. So Dasharthas, that is, there are at least 10 meanings for every verse. That is the meaning of this one. Every verse will give at least 10 meanings. And many enlightened saints have written commentaries like that also. And this is minimum I am speaking. And if a god reads, or Gandharvas, Yakshas, and so many other demigods are there, gods are there, they derive more than 10 meanings. And that is how they enjoy so much about divinity of Lord, or stay in meditation for hours together. If you sit for meditation, hardly 5 minutes meditation, or even 30 seconds meditation, we can successfully do. Whereas for saints, they do for hours together or days together. And gods and all, we hear that they have done penance for 100 years or 10 years, or they can stay in meditation. Lord Shiva always shown as in a meditation posture only, because he can meditate like that only, because his capacity, his caliber is of such a paramount quality. And for us, hardly 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 20 minutes. In that 20 minutes itself, our mind will go away for 200 times here and there. Whereas for gods, they stay in that single pointed meditation, like Lord Shiva says, stays. We see the photograph of Lord Shiva in meditation posture. So that is how we are different from the God, and God is always supreme. We are a very small entity of that God particle. So that is Lord Sri Krishna is conveying. Avinashi tu tad vidyi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavvayasya asya kaschit kartum arhati. Further he says, Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. Bharata, again he is addressing Arjuna as a Bharata, and he says, Antavanta ime deha. That is, even if you feel that these bodies are they die, and again new body is taken by this Atman. Antavanta ime deha. That is, the bodies keep on changing, but nityasya ukta. Nitya means permanently. Ukta means told. Who is permanent? Sharirina. Sharira we know. Sharirina is one who is bearing that sharir, isn't it? Now I am wearing a shirt. That is, shirt is superficial. Inside body will be there. Like that, within this body there is a soul, or an Atman is there. That is, he is a sharirina. The one who is bearing the shariri is a sharirina. That is the meaning of this one. Antavant, this body is bound to be destroyed, whereas this Atman is bound to stay permanently. And Antavanta ime deha nityasokta sharirinaha. Nitya, he is permanent. Nitya means permanent. Anashino aprameyasya. That is anashino aprameyasya. That is who cannot be explained, put in the words. That is anashina aprameya. As we say, how was the fight between this Ravana and Rama? That is Rama Ravana yor yuddham Rama Ravana yoriva. That is, there is no other comparison to it. Or how is the sky? I cannot show it. How is the pen or spectacle? I can show it is like this, it is like this. But how can I show how is the sky? Means only sky is the example. We don't have any other thing to show that this looks like a sky. Or if somebody says, how is the ocean? I cannot show any other example of the ocean to convince that this ocean looks like this. Suppose sitting in a place like this, if some child asks, how is the ocean? I cannot show a well and show that it is a very large, 100 times more wells, or the 1,000, 1 million wells are there. Still it is insufficient only. Or if I show a huge river and say that ocean is like this, No, still it is huge, because such all rivers go and vanish in the ocean. They cannot even make 0.01% of the saline water sweet. Sweet water that flows into the ocean vanishes within no time, and all the water is saline or salty only, because it has lost its identity. So that means all the river waters also cannot, we cannot equate. So how do we convince a child that ocean looks like this? So it is aprameya. We beyond any quotes, so we cannot give any suitable example. Same thing, sky, we cannot give a suitable example. So like that, this Atman is also like that only, or God is also. As I said, these verses you can decipher, or you can apply to human beings also, or any other souls also. You can apply to God also. God is more suitable, because as I said, we have limited. Deshataha, kalataha, gunataha. Deshataha means I am present here, I cannot be present everywhere, whereas God can be present everywhere. He can be present in every molecule. Deshataha. Kalataha, now I am present here. 100 years back I was not there, or 100 years after I will not be there. Kalata. God was there 100 years before like this, or infinite years after like this. He will be there like this constantly. Whereas I was born as a child, I became adult, I will become old, and I may die also. So this is possible for me. For God, this is not possible. So Deshataha, Kalatah, Gunatah. Gunatah I already told 2-3 times. That is, if I know some knowledge, I do not know about engineering, I do not know about this one. Whereas God knows everything at all the time, from infinity to infinity. So Deshataha, Kalataha, Gunataha, all these verses are more suited to explain the supremacy of Lord, rather than supremacy of human Atmas. We have very limited caliber, limited capacity, limited lifespan, limited knowledge, limited space we occupy. We don't occupy a lot of space. That is, here also I am present, somewhere else also I am present, in market also I am present. It's not possible. So that is what is the meaning of this verse. Then antavanta ime deha nityasokta sharirinaha anashino aprameya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. Hence, by looking at this temporariness, or this transitory state of life, and this body and your duties and all other things, now you have to take on the fight. That is what is the message of Lord Sri Krishna to Arjuna. And further, Lord Sri Krishna continues, Ya enam vetya hantaram yaschenam manyate hatam ubhautau na vijanito nayam hantina hanyate. That is, Lord says, Ya enam vetya hantaram. That is, if somebody feels that I am killing that person, or that person has killed so and so person, if somebody claims like that, both of them do not know. That is, if somebody says I am killing or making him to die, or somebody says that somebody is killing this person, in that case, both of them, they do not know the real knowledge, because the soul doesn't qualify for destruction itself. That is, no one can destroy this soul. It is eternal, including the gods. Nobody will destroy, because it is not meant for that one. It is meant for permanent stay in its full form. So it will stay like this only. So that is what Lord Sri Krishna says here. If somebody claims like that, I have killed that person, or this doesn't, this, see, this can give to wrong meanings also. If somebody goes and kills somebody and starts claiming that, see, Lord Sri Krishna says that I cannot kill somebody, so hence I have not killed. So he has already killed that person. So meaning should not be applied to such vile-minded, bad people, or with such crooked mentality. The meaning of this is that Atman cannot be killed by anybody. Atman cannot be destroyed